Well, what's the verdict? We're 2 days past a heat wave, and so it's now that the dust has settled, it's fine. I think it's time to finally ask ourselves, did we beat the heat? That old journalistic cliche. No one ever, like, checks in on that. Like, well, did we beat it? I think we should just accept the heat into our bodies. It's already there. It doesn't make a lot of sense that the inside of your body can be 98 degrees, and when it's 98 degrees outside, you're like, I wish I was dead. So what's the deal with that? Unfortunately, there's no way to find out. They recently shut down the internet. They said we did enough posts and we can finally go. And we were like, what do you mean we can? You don't know about this? It just happened, I think, earlier. So yeah, things are going to be a little bit different from now on. I'm going to learn how to churn butter. And I'm going to try to look really buxom while doing it. You gotta churn butter buxomly. Or what are you even doing it for? To make butter? It's ancillary. I don't like that that's the word for that. I just now figured that out. Do away with buxom. Replace it with snorp. I should have not just said the first thing that came to mind. Wow, you're looking pretty snorp today, Linda. She says, how dare you? And she reports you to HR. As she should. You don't use the word snorp around a married woman. What words can you use around a married woman? I guess you can say just like a stream of numbers, I guess? I don't know. I'm kind of blanking. Like you could just say like 7, 6, just to like fill the air with, sound. I think they like that. I think that's how you should communicate with everybody. I think we should live in a world where we're constantly saying a number that correlates on a scale with how we feel from 1 to 10. You're just walking down the sidewalk, you're like 99999. You can't say anything else, by the way. You can only communicate your emotional state, essentially. Welcome to Numbers World, my new young adult novel. It's really good. It was nominated for a Peabody Award. It's not the good one, it's the Peabody Award. It's when they hate your stuff so much they pee on your body. I didn't accept it. Most people don't, but it's an honor to be nominated. I know that they have the Razzies, but they should have something like that that's as big as the Oscars. Like, everyone has to acknowledge the worst movies that got made, and they all have to, like, be re-educated. They have to, like, live in a camp for, like, 6 months and try to make a better movie. But this is the only way to improve movies. That's the only idea I can think of. We need to save the film industry. Every week I go to the movie theater and I'm like, oh, they're remaking Frog in a Bog? And they're doing it live action? You know what makes it even more ridiculous? There wasn't even an original Bog Frog. It's just an experience I had in a dream one time. They're making movies based on shit that isn't even real. Imagine that. Imagine watching Star Wars knowing that the events in the movie are fake, that Darth Vader isn't real, that Han Solo is a fictional creation. Imagine believing that. We all know those are real events that happened in the distant past. It says it right in the beginning. If it was fake, they have to say it. Like, at some point, somebody, Han Solo, would have to turn to the camera and say, these are fictional events being depicted. If he doesn't do that, then George Lucas is gonna hear from my attorney. His name is Chewbacca. It's just a weird coincidence. It has nothing to do with Star Wars. Then it's not as good. It's like, oh, this is all made up? Who gives a fuck? And it's weird that they knew that in my dream, the frog was voiced by Seth Rogen. They didn't include any of the sex parts of the dream, though. Which I get why, but it does take away a lot of the context of Frog and Bog. So the movie sucks. 2 thumbs down. Fuck all movies. This is my final review. I think if I were Ebert, whichever one's still alive, if I were him, I would just sign off as a joke with like, I never actually liked movies. I was pretending to be into it to mock people who are. I actually only watch TV shows, specifically Andy Griffith and The Amazing Digital Circus. Those are the only 2 shows I've ever seen. I've never seen any movies. I'm afraid to admit I did get into Amazing Digital Circus. Just kidding. Psych. I don't watch TV. I only smell flowers and enjoy long walks on the beach. Eat a piece of cake. Eat a bagel. What are some other foods? You can eat anything. The sky's the limit. And even then, you could probably find a way to eat the sky. I mean, clouds at sunset, they look delicious. Every day that's not overcast, you go outside and you just see, like, sherbet. You're like, can I have some? Nobody says anything. Oh shit, I gotta do bird update. I'm really sorry. Bird update's happening now. Play the bird update intro. Birds are... Sorry about that. Man, it was such a good intro. I'm sorry about that. I've just observed that birds are fucking losing it lately. They're like, shit's going awry in the bird world. We were on the sidewalk and we looked up and there was a eagle up on a telephone pole that was stepping on the neck of like a smaller, just like garden variety bird and just kind of slowly suffocating it and kind of looking at us like, why are you looking at me like I'm weird? This is what's going on in most of Earth. And then a seagull got its wing impaled on the spire of a mansion, like a historic mansion in my city. Literally, they tried to get to the seagull, the fire department showed up, they're like, this mansion is so big, the ladder doesn't go that high. They're like, well, it's not worth dying over a seagull. And there's a daycare across the street, and again, this all sounds like kind of made up for some reason, but they were chanting, save the bird, and it got posted on social media. For like a brief period, the city came together and was like, we gotta save this bird. I saw a guy on Facebook, he's like, I'm pretty sure I can just like parkour up there and get it. And everyone was like, do it. But I was there at like 7 o'clock tonight, and that thing was dead as fuck. That is the deadest seagull I've ever seen. It looked like it was crucified. Honestly, it was horrible. But now the kids have to look at it tomorrow. Because they can't even get up there to get rid of it. Oh, this is so depressing. I'm really bringing myself down. What about all the how about this? What about all the seagulls that lived today, that just continued living and thriving? This is why anytime I hang out with someone, I look them dead in the eye, and I say, I'm glad you're not impaled on a spire. Say it on a date, you know, say, hey, everybody else I swiped on, they were impaled on spires for some reason. I'm like, how are they even swiping on me? And I realized I had my preferences set wrong. You know, there's like millions of fucking seagulls. If they really worked together, they could lift him up. But instead they were just circling, going squaw. Like, squaw doesn't help in this situation. Just encountering, like, I don't want to own a bird, I just like encountering them in the wild. I was never a Pokemon guy, but it makes me understand the Pokemon appeal. Because I kind of capture the rare ones that I see in my mind. Like, I saw a cardinal and a blue jay hanging out. That's points. That has to count towards something. I mean, I can't make them fight each other, but I'm working on it, okay? So I have to bring out the host of Time Check, who you may know as one Slurp Von Lipstick. He brought in a doctor's note and said, Slurp can do Time Check today. I don't need that. That doesn't make any sense. You don't have to give me a note from your doc. It's already your job? I don't even know anything about doctors. I know you use apples to repel them. You know when they said an apple a day keeps the doctor away, do they mean you eat it, or does the apple have some kind of magical ward that shields you from the doctor's attacks? They're legally allowed to stab you with a needle if you consent to it, but you should never consent to anything happening to your body. I'm just kidding. I was trying to be funny and then I accidentally became anti-vax. You can't have any fun these days. You can't say shit. And if you think I'm stalling because I don't want to do time check, don't think you know me. Don't think you understand me. You haven't got me figured out at all. You're not my doctor. I have an expert team of doctors. They check me out via a VR simulation of Operation, the board game. But in real life, they're actually doing that stuff to me. I don't really mind it most of the time. They pay me a shitload of money to do it. Folks, it's Slurp on Lipstick, the host of Time Check. Thank you so much. Such a warm welcome as always. Thing is, he has it so easy. He can just do whatever he wants. He can say whatever he wants. He has no structure to work with. But I have to be locked in. I gotta check the time at a specific time. Everybody thinks it's so easy. But it's not. I have nightmares. And I have rashes. I don't know if that's related to time check, but... do you know any good doctors? Because I have lots of other problems that I'm uncomfortable talking about. I self-diagnosed myself. Which is redundant. I could have just said I self-diagnosed. I self-diagnosed. Period. End of sentence. Also redundant to say period, end of sentence. So I'll just say nothing. Which is how you would end the sentence. You would just stop talking. Okay, I figured it out. You see, this isn't that easy. So the time where you are, I have no fucking clue. I don't care. Where I am, right now, it's 11:32 p.m. And a time check listener has arranged for me to call them at this specific time and remind them to do something that's important to do. This week, it's my mother and father. They wrote to me that they wanted to be reminded to call me because they don't call me or speak to me because they're ashamed of my career. They said, why didn't you go to, why didn't you go to work at the lollipop factory like everybody in town? Your mother, your father, your grandfather, his father, they all made lollipops at the lollipop factory. What makes you any different? I said, I want to tell the time. A kid I went to school with ended up working at the popsicle factory instead in the neighboring town. They hunted him down and they killed him. They said, you should have only made lollipops. They, put his body on, a big lollipop stick. It was... You're not going to read about that in the mainstream media. There's a dark underbelly to lollipops. Look into it. I guess I should say lick into it. Anyway, these are my parents. Jerry Von Lipstick and Jerry Von Lipstick, but spelled in the girl way.
Why have you done this to us, son?
Oh my god, you're still crying about the lollipop thing? Has she been crying this whole time? It's been like 30 years.
We've never recovered, son.
Well, I don't know. It's 11:30 at night. Did you know that?
We don't check the time. We told you we think it's stupid.
What do you mean? How can you think time is stupid? You need it. Mom, are you even going to say anything?
You made her so upset. She's watching Yellowstone through tears.
Can you pause Yellowstone and we can have a real conversation about this?
They're about to sell the ranch again.
Wait, is she crying about Yellowstone or is she crying about my life choices?
Look, they're opening up a new lollipop factory down on Candyland Lane.
Yeah?
They're gonna be looking for people. You should look into it.
I'm not working in fucking lollipops, Dad. I don't care about lollipops. You lick them and lick them and lick them, and then they're gone. What's the point?
Well, that's just all food. Everyone on this show is so attractive in their own individual ways.
Mom, are you even paying attention to this conversation? What are you talking about?
You could have at least gotten a job in the Gumdrop District.
I hate the fucking Gumdrop District. The floor is sticky. You come back, your shoes are they're covered in gumdrops. It's disgusting.
They pay well.
Well, it was great catching up. Is there anything you want to tell the listeners of Time Check? Anything you want to say?
Yeah.
Okay, please proceed.
When we said Lucky went to a farm upstate,
Oh, no.
he actually was abducted by some kind of craft.
Lucky was abducted by aliens?
Yeah, it was kind of one of the most life-changing experiences I've ever had. I still see the eyes of the gray alien behind the wheel as he sucked the dog up into this horrible, sickening tube. I was sick for weeks thinking about the sound it made when the old Lucky went up. I guess, like, the asshole of the ship, it was really unclear what was happening.
Okay, you don't need that level of detail.
I don't know what to say, but that experience changed me. Couldn't see the real world the same way again. Still trying to come back from it, you know? I thought Billy Bob Thornton was in this.
Mom, no, that's Landman, right?
Oh, I thought this was Landman. What the fuck's going on? Alright, well, you know, I should get going. Let's catch up sometime soon. And son?
Yeah, Dad?
The peak of The Office, US, was seasons 1 through 5.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say something different.
What?
I don't know, just something different.
Oh, I gotta go. Something crazy's happening in Yellowstone.
What the hell is that show about?
It's about this guy named Peter Griffin, I guess?
No, that's incorrect. Alright, thanks a lot. Well, that went better than I expected. This week's Time Check was brought to you in part by, you gotta be fucking kidding me. This episode brought to you by Big Round Lollipops. Big Round Lollipops. Lick them, suck them, till they're down to a nub. Lollipops. Destroy them with your mouth. Not great ad copy, it's a little aggressive. Maybe it was my delivery? It's just a little frustrating to me. I don't want to talk about lollipops at a time like this. It's like they made me do 6 months living in a gingerbread house as like boot camp to like make me think that candy is good. Like, this is disgusting. It actually completely backfired. And that's why I never got into lollipops. That's why I hate candy. I'm like the Burgermeister Burger of candy. I only eat food that's gray and German. Hold on. Somebody's calling. This is my homunculus. He's a little creature I created. He lives in my house. He's like 2 inches tall now. Which means he can't sneak under doors anymore, which I'm really glad about. That led to a lot of really bad situations. Hello? You know by now when I do time check. So the fact that you always call during time check tells me you're just inconsiderate of my time check. No, I didn't know that the governor of the Virgin Islands was exempted by the Trump administration from imposing a specific tariff, and that Epstein's Island was technically in the Virgin Islands. Yeah, I didn't know that. Look, dude, you just gotta unplug from this. It's getting to you. From my perspective, like, less than 2 years ago, you were literally goo in a vial. And now you're like, release the files. How do you have an opinion already? Yeah, I know, opinions are just like assholes. You don't have an asshole? Oh. Wait, so you're saying you're neutral on all matters? You just ask questions? Okay, Rogan. If you don't have a butthole, what are you doing with what you eat? What? How does a garden hose withstand that? There's a funnel involved. Okay, alright. Okay, homunculus, thanks for calling in. I'll talk to you later. I'll see you later. I'll go home to my house where that is happening regularly, so that's good. This has been Time Check. Checking is a good time. Checking the time. It's a good time to check the time. It's a good time to be checked. Time check good. We're over 100 time checks in. I gotta figure out a slogan for time check. I definitely think that, like, it's a good time should factor into it. Like, I check the time, and this time is good. I check the time, and it's a good time. Having a good time by checking it. Checking a good time. There's gotta be a way to do it. Having a good time check. Time check. Having a good time check. I'm gonna kill myself. See you later. Okay, where is Slurp-On Lipstick from? He was voted the worst dressed at the Emmys. He wasn't invited. He showed up nude. And he said, I know this is the only way to get me worst dressed at the Emmys. And he was right, but, like, still, that's crazy. Still thinking about that sequel. It really sent shockwaves through the community. And I can't think of anything else that's happened recently in the news that also sent shockwaves throughout communities where I live. Somebody locally slipped and fell on ice, to use a colloquial term of they were murdered in broad daylight by federal Gestapo agents. I don't know why I'm laughing when I'm saying that. Despite not being actually part of any investigation, just some sort of weird, like, road rage incident that's cloaked in the language of federal law enforcement. They're like, our guys got really mad and they shot the guy. We don't know what happened, but... And you shouldn't either. That's kind of the general, like, guiding principle of Trump 2.0. What if we were all stupid? What if we tried to force you to be stupid, too? Like, try to make you believe shit that's obviously not true. Because, like, if they think that works on us, then that means they're also, like, very easily fooled. Because their own tactics pass their own smell test. So they're really fucking dumb, apparently. It sucks that this is happening in an election year, too. And they're just like, if I get elected, I'm gonna put forward a bill that makes fascism illegal. I'm gonna put forward a bill that will entrap Donald Trump inside of an energy cube. They're all saying this. It's like, a guy has been killed. Stop talking about energy cubes, you know? Another thing that was funny is that the national news was calling the town Biddeford, even though it's Biddeford. And after a day of doing that, I just called the newsroom. I'm like, dude, it's Biddeford. And I said, this is the kind of phone conversation I like to have. We're just exchanging information. You don't need to know any of my emotions. That's when phone calls get hard, is when you have to convey emotion. Or in text. It's even worse in texts. To overcome this obstacle, I'm getting work done to look like a human emoji so that people can see exactly what I look like in real time as I react to their messages. When I barf, I look exactly like the barf emoji. When I'm a snake, I look exactly like this, you know. So I can do all those. This has been the Purgatory Podcast. I don't know how to end the podcast. How about a fart sound effect? That'll do. Alright, see you later.